Hello students, this is your economics teacher INR. I hope you are well and utilizing the time wisely.
In the previous class, you learned about meaning of market, classification of market and perfect competition. Today, you are going to learn about imperfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, duopoly and oligopoly. Students, watch this video very carefully till the end. Fine, let us enter into the topics. First, we will discuss imperfect competition. Students, take the page number 106. Imperfect competition. The concept of imperfect competition was propounded in 1933 in England by John Robinson and in America by H. Chamberlain. It is an important market category where the individual firms exercise their control over the price. Definition: imperfect competition is a competitive market situation where there are many sellers but they are selling heterogeneous or dissimilar goods as opposed to the perfect competitive market scenario. As the name suggests, competitive market are imperfect in nature. Description: imperfect competition is the real world competition. Today, some of the industries and sellers follow it to earn supernormal profit. In this market scenario, the seller enjoys luxuries of influencing the price in order to earn more profits. If a seller is selling a non-identical goods in the market, then he can raise the price and earn profits. Second, you are going to learn about monopoly. The word monopoly has been derived from the combination of two words, that is mono and poly. Mono refers to a single and poly refers to seller. In this way, monopoly refers to a market situation in which there is only one seller of a commodity, hence there is no scope for competition. In short, monopoly is a market structure in which there is a single seller, there are no close substitutes for the commodity it produces and there are barriers to entry. Definition: monopoly is a market structure characterized by a single seller selling the unique product with the restriction for a new firm to enter the market. Monopoly is a form of market where there is a single seller selling a particular commodity for which there are no close substitutes. Features of monopoly. First, there is a single seller or seller of a product. There is only one seller. He can control either price or supply of this product, but he cannot control demand for the product as there are many buyers. Second, the product of a monopolist is unique and has no close substitutes. There are no close substitutes for the product. The buyer have no alternative or choice. Either they have to buy the product or go without it. Third, there is a strict barrier for entry of any new firms. There is no freedom to producer to enter the market as the monopolist is enjoying monopoly power. There are strong barriers for new firms to enter. There are legal, technological, economic and natural obstacles which may block the entry of new producers. Fourth, the monopolistic is a price taker. The monopolistic has control over the supply so as to increase the price. Sometimes he may adopt a price discrimination. He may fix different prices for different set of the consumers. A monopolistic can either fix the price or quality of output, but he cannot do both at the same time. Last, the monopolist earn maximum profit and abnormal profit. Source of monopoly power. First, natural monopoly. A monopoly may arise on account of some natural causes. Some minerals are available only in certain regions. For example, South Africa has the monopoly of diamonds. Nickel is the world is mostly available in Canada and oil in Middle East countries. This is natural monopoly. Second, state monopoly. Government will have the sole right of producing and selling some goods. There are state monopolies. For example, we have public utilities like electricity and railways. These public utilities are undertaken by the state. Third, legal monopoly. Monopoly power is achieved through patent right, copyright and trademarks by the producers. This is called legal rights. Here, a monopoly firm can get its monopoly power by getting patent rights, trademarks from the government. Next, price and output determination under monopoly. A monopolist, like a perfect competitive firm, tries to maximize his profit. A monopoly firm faces a downward sloping demand curve, that is, its average revenue. The downward sloping demand curve implies that larger output can be sold only by reducing the price. Its marginal revenue curve will be below the average revenue curve. The average cost curve is U-shaped. The monopolist will be in equilibrium when MC is equal to MR and MC curve cuts the MR curve from below. In figure 5.6, AR is the average revenue curve and MR is the marginal revenue curve. AR curve is falling and MR curve lies below AR. The monopolist is in equilibrium at point T where MC is equal to MR. He produced 3 units of output and fixes price is 88. At 3 units of output, the average revenue is 88 and average cost is 50. Therefore, the profit per unit is 88 minus 50 is equal to 38. Total profit is average profit 38 multiplied by 3 units, which is equal to 114. The monopolistic is in equilibrium at point T and produce 3 units of output at which is earning maximum profit. The monopoly price is higher than the marginal revenue and marginal cost. Next, price discrimination under monopoly. The price discrimination means the practice of selling the same commodity at different prices to different buyers. If the monopolistic charges different prices from different consumer for the same commodity, it is called price discrimination or price discriminating monopoly. Price discrimination may be defined as the sale of technically similar product at prices which are not proportional to marginal cost. For examples, all cinema theaters charge different prices for different classes of the people. Here, a discriminating monopoly, a single entity that charges different prices for different consumer, higher price will be charged for price inelastic consumer and vice versa. Types of price discrimination. First, personal discrimination. Different prices are charged for different individuals. Second, geographical. The demand must not be transferable from the high priced market to the low priced market. If rich people do not buy the high priced deluxe edition of the book but wait for the low priced popular edition to come out, then personal discrimination will fail. Here, different prices are charged at different prices for the same product. For example, a book sold within India at a price is sold in a foreign country at a lower price. On their basis, China drops its goods in Indian market. As a result, watch and toys industries closed down their business. Third, on the basis of use. The monopolistic should keep the two markets or different markets separate so that the commodity will not be moving from one market to the another market. It is possible to buy the product in the cheaper market of the monopolistic and sell it is in dearer market. There can never be two prices for the commodity. If the industrial buyers of cheap electricity uses it for domestic consumption, then trade discrimination will fail. Here, different prices are charged according to the use of a product. For example, lower rate are charged by Tamil Nadu Electricity Board for domestic use of electricity and higher rate are charged for commercial and industrial use. Next, degrees of price discrimination. Price discrimination has become widespread in almost all monopoly markets. According to A.C. Bigu, there are 3 degrees of price discrimination. First degree price discrimination. A monopolist charges the maximum price that a buyer is willing to pay. This is called as perfect price discrimination. This price whips out the entire consumer surplus. This is maximum exploitations of consumers. John Robinson named it perfect discriminating monopoly. Second degree of price discrimination. Under this degree, buyers are charged prices in such a way that a part of their consumer surplus is taken away by the sellers. This is called as imperfect price discrimination. John Robinson named it as imperfect discriminating monopoly. Under this degree, buyers are divided into different groups and a different price is charged for each group. For example, in cinema theater, prices are charged for same film show from viewers of different classes. In a theater, the difference between the first row of first class and the last row in the second class is similar as compared to the differences in charges. Third degree price discrimination. The monopolistic split the entire market into a few sub-markets and charges different prices in each sub-market. The groups are divided on the basis of age, sex, location. For example, railway charges lower fare from senior citizen, students gets discounts in museum and exhibition. Dumping. Dumping refers to practice of the monopolistic charging higher price for his product in the local market and lower price in the foreign market. Through dumping, a country expand its command over other countries for its product. This is also called as international price discrimination. For example, India electronic market is floated with the China product. Thirdly, you are going to learn about monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition, as the name itself implies, is a blending of monopoly and competition. Monopolistic competition refers to the market situation in which a large number of sellers produce goods which are close substitutes of one another. The products are similar but not identical. The particular brand of product will have a group of local consumers. This is respect each firm will have some monopoly and at the same time the firm has to compete in the market with the other firms as they produce a fair substitutes. The essential features of monopolistic competitions are product differentiation and existence of many sellers. The following are the examples of monopolistic competition in Indian context. First, soap. Pierce, Synthol, Lux, Rexona, Medimix, Lifebuoy, etc. Toothpaste, Binaca, Colgate, Fergans, Close-Up, Promise, Pepsodent, Vico Vajradhanti, Ajanta, Anchor, etc. Features of monopolistic competition. The important features of monopolistic competitions are: first, there are large number of buyer and seller. Under monopolistic competition, the number of firms producing a commodity will be very high. The term very large denotes that the contribution of each firm towards the total demand of the product is small. Each firm will act independently on the basis of product differentiation and each firm determine its price output policies. Any actions of the individual firms in increasing or decreasing the output will have little or no effects on other firms. Second, firms under monopolistic competition are price taker. They set their own prices. Third, firms produce a differentiated product. It is the key elements of monopolistic competition. Product differentiation is the essence of monopolistic competition. Product differentiation is the process of altering goods that serve the same purpose so that they differ in minor ways. Product differentiation can be brought about in various ways. Product differentiation is attempted through a physical differences, quality differences, imaginary differences, and purchase benefit differences. It may be by using different quality of the raw material and different chemicals and mixers used in the product. Differences in workmanship, durability, and strength will also make product differentiation. Product differentiation may also be affected by offering customers some benefits with the sale of the product. Facilitates like free servicing, home delivery, acceptance of returned good, etc. would make the customers demand that particular brand of product when such facilities are available. Product differentiation through effective advertisement is another method. This is also known as sales promotion. By frequently advertising the brand of the product through press, film, radio, and TV, the consumers are made to feel that the brand produced by the firm is superior to that of the other brands sold by the other firms. Fourth, there is free entry and exit of the firm. Another important feature is the freedom of any firm to enter into the field and produce the commodity under its own brand name and any firm can go out of the field it so chosen. There are no barriers as in the case of monopoly. Monopolistic competition presupposes that customers have definite preferences for particular varieties or brand of product. Hence, pricing is not the problem, but product differentiation is the problem, and competition is not on price but on product. Fifth, firms compete with each other by incurring selling cost or expenditure on sale promotion of their product. From the discussion of product differentiation, we can infer that the producer under monopolistic competition has to incur expenses to popularize his brand. This expenditure involved in selling the product is called selling cost. According to Professor Chamberlain, selling cost is the cost incurred in order to alter the position or shape of the demand curve for the product. Most important form of selling cost is advertisement. Sales promotion by advertisement is called non-price competition. Sixth, non-price competition is an essential part of monopolistic competition. Seventh, a firm can follow an independent price policy. Next, price and output determination under monopolistic competition. The firm under monopolistic competition achieves its equilibrium when its MC is equal to MR, and when its MC curve cuts its MR curve from below. If MC is less than the MR, the sellers will find it profitable to expand their output. Under monopolistic competition, first, the demand curve is downward sloping. Second, there are close substitutes. Third, the demand curve or the average revenue curve is fairly elastic. Under monopolistic competition, different firms produce different varieties of the product and sell them at different prices. Each firm under monopolistic competition seeks to achieve equilibrium as regards: first, price and output; second, product adjustment; third, selling cost adjustment. Short period equilibrium of a monopolistic competitive firm with profits. In figure 5.7 shows the equilibrium of the individual firms in the short period. MC and AC are the short period marginal cost and average cost curve. The sloping down average revenue and marginal revenue curve are shown as AR and MR. The equilibrium point is E, where MR is equal to MC. The equilibrium output is OM and the price of the product is fixed at OP. The differences between average cost and average revenue is RQ. The output is OM, so the supernormal profit for the firm is shown by the rectangle PQSR. The firm, by producing OM unit of its commodity and selling it at a price of OP per unit, realize the maximum profit in the short run. But under differing revenue and cost condition, the monopolistically competitive firms may incur loss. As shown in diagram, the AR and MR curve are fairly elastic. The equilibrium situation occurs at point E, where MC is equal to MR and the MC curve cuts MR curve from below. The equilibrium output is OM and the equilibrium price is OP. The total revenue of the firm is OMQP and the total cost of the firm is OMLK, and thus the total loss is PQLK. This firm incurs loss in the short run. Long run equilibrium of the firm and the group equilibrium. In the long run, its existing firm earns supernormal profit. The entry of new firms will reduce its share in the market. The average revenue of the product will come down. The demand for factors of production will increase the cost of production. Hence, the size of the profit will be reduced. If the existing firm incur losses in the long run, some of the firms will leave the industry, increasing the share of the existing firm in the market. As the demand for factors become less, the price of factors will come down. This will reduce the cost of production, which will increase the profit earned by the existing firm. Thus, under monopolistic competition, all the existing firm will earn normal profit in the long run. In the above diagram, equilibrium is achieved at point E. The equilibrium output is OM and the equilibrium price is OP. The average revenue at the equilibrium output is MQ. And the average cost is also MQ. Thus, in the long run, under monopolistic competition, there is a equilibrium when AR is equal to AC and MC is equal to MR. It means that a firm earns normal profit. AR is tangent to the long run average cost LAC curve at point Q. Next, waste of monopolistic competition. First, idle capacity. Unutilized capacity is the differences between the optimum output that can be produced and the actual output produced by the firm. In the long run, a monopolistic firm produces deliberately output which is less than the optimum output, that is the output corresponding to the minimum average cost. This is done so mainly to create artificial and rise prices. This leads to excess capacity which is actually to waste in monopolistic competition. In short, excess capacity is the differences between the optimum output that can be produced and the actual output produced by the firm. In the long run, a monopolistic firm produces an output which is less than the optimum output, that is the output corresponding to the minimum average cost. This leads to excess capacity which is regarded as waste in monopolistic competition. Second one is unemployment. Under monopolistic competition, the firms produce less than optimum output. As a result, the productive capacity is not used to the fullest extent. This will lead to unemployment of human resources also. In short, under monopolistic competition, the firms produce less than optimum output. As a result, the productive capacity is not used to the fullest extent. This will lead to unemployment of resources. Third, advertisement. There is a lot of waste in competitive advertisement under monopolistic competition. The wasteful and competitive advertisements lead to high cost to the consumers. It is also claimed that advertisement chart the consumer by giving false information about the product. In short, there is a lot of waste in competitive advertisement under monopolistic competition. The wasteful and competitive advertisement leads to high cost to the consumers. Fourth, too many variety of goods. Introducing too many variety of goods is another waste of monopolistic competition. The goods differ in size, shape, style and color. A reasonable number of varieties would be sufficient. Cost per unit can also be reduced if only a few varieties are produced in larger quantity instead of larger varieties with small quantities. In short, introducing too many variety of a good is another waste of monopolistic competition. The goods differ in size, shape, style and color. A reasonable number of varieties would be desirable. Cost per unit can be reduced if only a few are produced. Fifth, inefficient firm. Under monopolistic competition, inefficient firm charge prices higher than their marginal cost. Such type of inefficient firm should be kept out of the industry. But the buyer's preference for such product mostly due to emotions enables like inefficient firms to continue to exist. Existing firm cannot drive out the inefficient firms because sometimes the efficient firms may not be able to spend money on the attractive advertisement to lure the buyers. In reality, the consumer are mostly emotional rather than rational, as started by Richard Taylor, the Nobel Prize winner for the year 2017. Rational decisions are made by mind, emotional decisions are made by heart. In short, under monopolistic competition, inefficient firm charge prices higher than their marginal cost. Such type of inefficient firm should be kept out of the industry. But the buyer's preference for such product enables the inefficient firms to continue to exist. Efficient firm cannot drive out the inefficient firm because the farmer may not be able to attract the customers of the latter. Thirdly, you are going to learn about duopoly. Duopoly is a special case of the theory of oligopoly in which there are only two sellers. Both the sellers are completely independent and no agreements exist between them. Even though they are independent, a change in the price and output of one will affect the other and may set a chain of reactions. A seller may, however, assume that he is a rival in unaffected by what he does. In that case, he takes only his own direct influence on the prices. Characteristics of duopoly. First, each seller is fully aware of his rival motive and actions. Second, both the sellers may collide. They agree on all matters regarding the sale of the commodity. Third, they may enter into the cutthroat competition. Fourth, there is no product differentiation. Fifth, they fix the price for their product with a view to maximizing their profit. Lastly, we will discuss oligopoly. Oligopoly is a market situation in which there are a few firms selling homogeneous or differential product. Examples are oil and gas. It is difficult to pinpoint the number of firms in competition among the few. With only a few firms in the market, the actions of one firm is likely to affect others. In short, oligopoly refers to a form of imperfect competition where there will be only a few sellers producing either homogeneous or differentiated product. Features of oligopoly. First, few large firms. Very few big firms won the major control of the whole market by producing major portions of the market demand. Second one is interdependence among firms. The most important features of oligopoly is interdependent in decision making. Since there are a few firms, each firm closely watches the activities of the other firm. Any changes in price, output, product, etc. by a firm will have a direct effect on the fortune of its rivals. So an oligopolistic firm must consider not only the market demand for its product but also the possible moves of other firms in the industry. In short, the price and quality decisions of a particular firms are dependent on the price and the quality decisions of the rival firms. Next, group behavior. Firms may realize the importance of mutual cooperation, then they will have a tendency of collusions. At the same time, the desire of each firms to earn maximum profit may encourage competitive spirit. Thus, cooperative and collusive trends as well as the competitive trend would prevail in an oligopolistic market. In short, the firm under oligopoly realize the importance of mutual cooperation. Fourth, advertisement cost. The oligopolistic good raise sales either by advertising or improving the quality of the product. Fifth, nature of the product. Perfect oligopoly means homogeneous product and imperfect oligopoly deals with heterogeneous product. Last, price rigidity. Another important features of oligopoly is price rigidity. Price is strict or rigid at the prevailing level due to the fear of reaction from the rival firms. If an oligopolistic firm lower its price, the price reduction will be followed by the rival firms. As a result, the firm lost its profit, expecting the same kind of reaction. If the oligopolistic firm raises the price, the rival firm will not follow. This would result in losing customers. In both ways, the firm would face difficulties, hence the price is rigid. Here, it implies that prices are difficult to be changed. The oligopolistic firms do not change their price due to the fear of rivals' reactions. That's all for today. We will continue in the next class. Freeze the assignment by clicking the link below.